911.
Excuse me, I need to report vandalism and physical abuse.
When did this happen?
My daughter, Tyler Witt, has physically assaulted me and she's vandalizing my home.
Where is she right now?
She's upstairs.
Do you need to go to a safe place?
No, I can go outside.
How old is your daughter?
She's 14.
Did she assault you also?
Yes, she did.
And she's 14?
She would not go back into her room. I tried to push her back into her room and we started to get into a fight and I'm bleeding.
Do you need a medic?
No.
Are you home alone with her?
Yes.
Where are you injured?
I have a cut above on my chin and on my right hand and a few scratches down my arm.
And your daughter's now upstairs in her room?
Yes.
What's her name?
Tyler, Tylar.
She's always been in the house all evening?
Yes. And no, I had to call the police because he told me where she was, but that was after I had called the police. I didn't know where she was. So they had to search for her.
Is she on probation or anything?
No, she's not.
Has she been drinking or using narcotics this evening?
No, she's not.
Does she have any weapons?
No.
What's she upset about this evening? Yes?
That was my daughter.
Is her name Joanne? Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
What is your first name?
Joanne.
Okay. Are you safe? Okay. Are you injured at all?
Yeah.
Okay. We have deputies on the way.
Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. Truly is. Before we get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so. It really helps me out and I really appreciate it. Okay, so today we're talking about 47-year-old Joanne Witt. She was born on January 25th, 1962. In 2009, she was a single mother raising her 14-year-old daughter, Tyler. She was an engineer for the county, and she was living in a luxury community in El Dorado Hills, California. Tyler grew up with all the latest technology. Her mother put her into dance classes when she was little, and by all accounts, Joanne was a great mother that was raising an equally great daughter. That would all change, though, when Tyler entered into high school. Tyler became rebellious. She began dressing darker and gravitating towards the goth crowd in the school. Taylor and her new group of friends would hang out at a coffee shop that was located in the El Dorado Hills town center. The town center was a place where a lot of teens would hang out because it was basically the only thing to do around there. And it had shops, restaurants, a movie theater, and of course, a coffee shop. Shortly after starting the 9th grade, and while hanging out at the coffee shop, 14-year-old Tyler would meet and become instantly smitten with 19-year-old Stephen Culver, who had just started college. Stephen was like the ringleader in the group, so to speak. He dressed the part of the goth crowd, but he definitely didn't fit your stereotypical role that people envision when they hear the word gothic. He was described as very mellow. He was a hard worker. He worked at a restaurant 6 days a week. He was going to college, and he had dreams of becoming a math teacher. Tyler and Stephen fell hard, and they fell fast. They instantly became an item and almost instantly began sleeping together. The only people that knew the real truth about Stephen and Tyler's relationship were a few of their friends. To everyone else in the world, Steven portrayed himself as a best friend, big brother type to Tyler. And when Joanne Witt became concerned about her daughter's new big brother, Tyler told her mother that she had absolutely nothing to worry about because Steven was gay. So therefore, even if she liked him, she wasn't his type. Don't worry, Ma. He's gay. He's not into me. I don't even have the right stuff down there. No problem. This is a flat out lie, obviously. But it seemed to work for a little bit. Then Joanne began to view Steven as a positive influence in her daughter's life after he began telling her the importance of keeping up her grades. She even allowed Steven to rent a room in her home for $500 a month. May 13th, 2009. Joanne finds lubricant, sex toys, and marijuana in her home's utility room. She confronts Steven about it, and he told her that he was holding the marijuana for a friend, aren't they always? And assured her that it did not belong to him. Okay. As far as the sex toys and the lubricant were concerned, it never got mentioned, and Joanne didn't press the issue. She believed that he was gay, so she probably felt uncomfortable pushing the topic. She was more concerned about getting out of her home than she was about the other stuff, because she probably assumed that he was using it with his boyfriend, not knowing that he was using it with her daughter. That's besides the point. May 14th, 2009. Joanne unexpectedly comes home from work early. She walks upstairs and she doesn't see Tyler in her room. So she walks over into Steven's room. His door is locked and she hears voices inside the room. So she begins banging on the door and demanding that Steven open the door immediately. When he does, he is shirtless with pants on. Joanne storms into the room and finds her 14-year-old daughter in the closet, butt naked, trying to cover herself. Joanne understandably goes into a rage. She trusted Steven. She rented a room to Steven. He lied to her face. Her daughter lied to her face. And he was sleeping with her 14-year-old daughter right under her nose in her own home. She threatens to call the police and file statutory charges on him. Joanne, after she calms down, she decides to go for a ride with Steven. During the car ride, he admits everything to her, but he also drives home the fact that he is in love with Tyler. Okay, Steven, it doesn't matter. She's 14 years old. I appreciate that he was in love with her, but she's 14 years old. She tells him that as long as he moves out of her home and stops seeing Tyler, that she will not call the police on him, which is really, really nice. Because I don't know if I would do that. Gotta be honest. I think that is above and beyond fair, truthfully, because I don't know that I would be that cool. And I'm a pretty cool mom. I don't know that I would be that cool, though. May 15th, 2009. Joanne has two male friends of hers from work come over to help her kick Steven out of the home as a safety precaution for herself. The moving out process actually went quite smoothly, and Steven was very polite and apologetic to the men. Tyler, on the other hand, was devastated. Joanne kept Tyler on a very short leash after this, but if you've ever been a teenager on a mission, you know that it's extremely hard for a parent, especially a single parent, to police your every move. It's basically impossible. Of course, they were still seeing each other behind Joanne's back. On the other hand, You would also know that teenagers are not as smart as they think they are, and eventually they're going to slip up. In the spring of 2009, the sneaking around became too much for the star-crossed lovers, so they began to consider themselves the modern-day Romeo and Juliet, and even began talking about death being the only way that they could be assured that they will be together for all eternity. So let me just make this very, very, very clear. Here's my PSA for the day. If you've been around, you know that I like to do it. The only thing that death assures is that you're dead. And I'll say it again for the people in the back. The only thing that death assures is that you're dead. You're never, ever, ever coming back again. Your life is over. That is the only thing it assures. In June of 2009, Joanne finds Tyler's journal in her room. Here's the thing, and let me put this out there right at the top portion of the story. Is going through someone's journal an invasion of privacy? Yes, it 100% is an incredible invasion of privacy. On the other hand, I would then suggest you get a job and move out of your mother's home. As long as Joanne is paying the mortgage and Tyler is not, she can look through every single inch of that home. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, inside Tyler's journal, she reads about her daughter's sexcapades in detail. These details included sex positions and the fact that they were not using birth control. These were not the only types of entries that were made, though. In other entries, she wrote about how she wished her mother would die, going on to say that she didn't care how she died, she just wanted her dead. This is the woman that gave you life. This is the woman that carried you for 9 months. This is the woman that had her vag ripped open for you. How could you say something like that? Joanne Witt would then decide to hand the journal over to police, as she should, but this may have proved to be a deadly mistake. Friday, June 12, 2009, Joanne Witt is a no-show, no-call to work. Joanna has never done something like this before. Monday, June 15, 2009, Joanne Witt is once again a no-show, no-call to work. Her employees are now on high alert, not only because this is completely out of character for Joanne, but also because there were employees at her company that were already aware of the issues that she'd been having with her daughter. So her boss decides to put a call into Joanne's parents, Norb and Judy Witt. Her father tells Joanne's boss that he is only 2 miles away from Joanne's house and that he's going to head over there to check on her. Joanne's boss also informs Norb that he already phoned police and requests that they perform a welfare check. When Norb arrives at the home, he finds 2 deputies walking around the outside. Norb lets them in, and the officers instruct him to stay outside while they do a sweep of the home. When police enter the home, everything seems normal. Doors are closed, windows are closed, blinds are closed, and the air conditioner is on. It's when police enter the master bedroom that everything changes. When officers come out of the home, they tell Norb that they found Joanne in her bedroom and that she's dead. Norb would later come out to say that the officers never used the word killed or murdered. He didn't even know what was going on until a CSI van and about 20 detectives showed up to the home. Joanne was stabbed about 20 times and almost decapitated. There were no signs of forced entry, and Joanne lived in a gated community where you would need a gate code to even enter into prior to getting to Joanne's house. Along with this, Joanne's 14-year-old daughter, Tyler, was nowhere to be found. Her father, Norb, informs police about Tyler and her new boyfriend, Steven, and about all the problems that they'd been having. So police go to talk to Steve and Tyler's friends. And when they do, they tell them that they saw the two a few days ago, that they had both dyed their hair black and met up with their friends to say goodbye. Essentially telling their friends that they were going to San Francisco to go through with their Romeo and Juliet death pact. Less than 24 hours after finding Joanne's body, police put out an APB on the couple. They would end up getting a call that Steven's car was spotted in a parking lot a few miles south of San Francisco. When police finally find the car, it was abandoned, and police were unsure at this point if the two were even still alive. The following morning, an off-duty police officer spots the two in a strip mall in a San Francisco suburb. He notifies police, and the teenage Romeo and Juliet are arrested at the mall. Then, at the station, Steven refuses to talk. In a separate interrogation room, Tyler plays dumb and tells police the reason she believes that she's there is because she ran away. Not because her mother was stabbed 20 times and almost decapitated. No, it's because I ran away. That's why I'm arrested. When police confront her about her mother's murder, she plays dumb and she puts on the crocodile tears. She then becomes offended and nasty that police didn't believe her story and that they were accusing her of her mother's death. Entitled teenagers. A few days later, a friend of the two named Matthew Widman comes forward to police to tell them that the night they came to say goodbye, Steven brought him outside to his car, told him that he had just murdered someone, and showed him the knife that he used to do it. When they brought Steven in, he refused to speak about his friend's claims and only wanted to talk about Tyler. So, if Tyler was charged as a minor in this case, she would have received a much lower sentence. After going back and forth with the judge, he finally decided to try Tyler as an adult, as he should. You do adult things, you pay adult consequences. So now she could face life in prison with no parole. So she ends up striking a deal to get a lower sentence, 15 years to life. What happened, Juliet? Now that you're facing life in prison, he's not your Romeo anymore?
Witt's attorney did reveal for the first time publicly how this girl reacted when she found out she is being tried as an adult in her own mother's murder.
Not well. None of us did.
She says the original plan never involved murder. She just wanted to drug her mom so that her and Steven could run away together to San Francisco and spend a few days there before taking their life together with the rat poison. One of them, unsure which one, decided that they needed to Joanne because if she woke up, she would call the police on them. June 12th, 2009. After Joanne fell asleep for the night, Tyler led Steven into the home. He brought a knife with him from his restaurant job at Rubio's. Tyler grabbed a knife from the kitchen and the two headed upstairs to Joanne's bedroom. She says that when she reached the door, she began to cry and told Steven that she could not go through with it. So he went into the room and he did it himself. She claims she sat at the door, held her ears to muffle the screams, and cried. How about you just stopped him? How about you just stop him? I don't understand why you think that makes you the victim. That doesn't make you the victim. Even if that were true, which is probably not. That doesn't make you the victim. When the scream stopped, Steven emerged from the bedroom full of blood. She then packed a bag, Steven cleaned himself up, and the two headed over to the coffee shop to bid farewell to their friends. After leaving the coffee shop, the two stopped at Home Depot and bought some decon rat poisoning. After spending a couple days in San Francisco, the two attempted to put their Romeo and Juliet plan into motion. They mixed the rat poison with Fruit Loops and red velvet cake, but it didn't work. The only thing that it did was make them very sick. And before they could attempt it a second time, they were found and arrested. May 17th, 2011, Stephen's trial begins. Prosecutors believe the motive is that he was scared that he was going to be charged with statutory R charges. The defense says that Stephen was just the fall guy in this whole situation. He was in love with Tyler and he was willing to take the rap for her. They go on to say that when Stephen arrived at the home that night, Joanne was already dead, and Tyler answered the door covered in her mother's blood and holding a bloody knife, which is also quite possible. It really is. It would come out at trial that Tyler was abused by her mother when she was very young. At just 4 years old, she was taken out of the home and put into foster care. She remained with a foster family for a few months while Joanne attended her court-ordered anger management classes. Then, after she completed the required hours, Tyler was returned to the home and to her mother, and there were never any issues again. So let me say this. I feel horrible for 4-year-old Tyler. No one, especially a child, deserves that. Tyler, the teenager, is a spoiled brat that needs her ass whooped.
A former classmate of Tyler Witt's called it,
It's just crazy. She actually was in my math class.
Stuff like that. I mean, come on.
You were a juror. What would you think right now?
I would probably say that he was guilty.
The prosecution calls Matthew Widman to the stand, the friend that went to the police to tell them about Stephen's confession to him. He testifies that even though he told him what he had claimed to have done, he didn't believe that his friend would be capable of actually following through with such an awful crime.
with nicknames like God and Squishy. Two of Stephen Culver's best friends testified against him in court. Outside court, another friend, Dylan Deutsch, did little to defend Culver in the murder of Joanne Witt.
I don't know that he did. I just know that he had a part in it.
Day 3 of Stephen Culver's trial saw his two best friends tell a jury that he confessed to them that he 14-year-old Tyler Witt's mother days after she discovered the two were having a sexual relationship. Matthew Whitman, a.k.a. God, testified that Culver showed him the bloody weapon. Matthew Bogert, a.k.a. Squishy, told the jury that Culver told him, quote, he killed his girlfriend's mother, that her body was lying in her room. But outside court, a surprise remark from another friend of Culver's who took the stand late this afternoon. Listen to what Dylan Deutsch told KCRA3 in an exclusive interview.
I've known Tyler Witt for a long time, and I have a feeling that she has more of a part in it than she's saying. I think she's guilty, to be honest. I think she did it, yeah.
On the 12th day of trial, Tyler takes the stand. The defense brings up her journal entries where she writes that she has 3 personalities: Tyler, Alex the Angel, and Toby the Demon. She described Toby as someone that would come out of her during stressful situations. But just as quickly as it got brought up, the judge shut it down, saying that it was not relevant to the case. June 15th, 2011, Stephen was found guilty and sentenced to life with no chance of parole. Tyler was sentenced to 15 years to life. All right, guys, if you're still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please leave me a like and a comment. Please subscribe if you haven't yet and you feel so inclined to do so. It really helps me out and I really appreciate it. And until next time, stay safe out there.